Welcome back to Star League, guys, down here live in the Next Gen Arena. My name is Valdez. Joining me today is Big Boy Wolf once again.
That's right.
Nice little interview. Guys, we're going to jump into, not interview, intro. We're going to jump into Classic versus Creator. Should be a pretty interesting PvP.
What happened to my hair? What happened?
I think it's fine.
It looks a little bit, looks a little bit off.
It's a little bit all over the place,
I'm
but
not sure what happened.
I think you're fine. You're
Whoa.
fine.
Yeah,
You're fine.
Bad hair day.
What you guys don't know is that if I look into the camera, the reflection comes right off into Wolf's face. So I'm like looking into his hair, but it looks like I'm looking into the camera. Like, who's in there?
Well, you're looking into my eyes. Everybody knows that. I'm looking into your eyes.
I just stare right at you. Just
what we're doing.
Yeah. Getting awkward here in the booth.
It feels like when in this booth, like in all the other booths, because of the way the lighting is and the glass, it's almost like you're like in one of those police interrogation rooms where you can't see out of the glass, but you can see in. Like, that's what it feels like when you're in the booth. You can't see much.
We're basically in a closet up here on the second floor. We were told that our desk was going to come out today, but we were lied to, and it'll come out on Pro League next week. So
that's what we were told, anyways.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like when we're in here, we're like Harry Potter under the closet stairs, like.
Oh yeah. Just shoved away in the corner of the studio.
It's because we're
where
wizards,
no one can see us,
and people are scared of us.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it, Wolf. Starcraft 2 wizards.
Like,
speaking into our wands, talking about the game.
So we got to keep the foreign casters, the English speakers up in the closet so the guests that come don't see them. They speak English really fast, no one can understand them. And
pretty much, man, we're like speaking our own like voodoo language, basically.
And I don't want anyone to see that Wolf guy. He always like predicts the one player that nobody else votes for, and he's always right. Like, he must be a wizard.
What kind of black magic is this guy using? Like.
Who did I vote for the other day that like nobody was with me?
Zone or whatever.
There was another one I did too. Like when the predictions came up on screen and like nobody was with me. I was on camera for a little bit and I was like, "Call me when he wins."
Oh yeah.
It was a Deer versus or Hurricane. It was a TVP.
I think it might
Young,
have been.
Maybe. I can't remember, but anyway, he won.
It was that matchup with Samsung, but
it was the weird game where like Deer like paused in the game and then like
it was Deer versus
Byung, I think.
Really? No, it was. Maybe it was. I don't know. I was watching. I just don't remember. Like
that was like the game where he got like insanely lucky, and you just like boosted the medevac past like 2 observers and like a pylon just like didn't get scouted. It was black magic.
It's hard to remember all these games. I was actually talking about this with Tasteless. Like, I mean, just like throwing around different studios, different players, different stages, different like groups, and it's crazy.
It's a lot to follow, but it is a lot of fun. I really like it.
Yeah, I love my job, Wolf.
Me too.
How about you?
I love it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for almost 4 years in Korea now.
Yeah,
enjoying my time.
You're a Korea veteran.
Yeah,
been out here a long time. Nick and Dan, they've been out here 8 years?
8 years or so. Yeah.
They've got a little bit of time on us. I'm like,
you're 3 years almost, right? 2.5 to 3.
In terms of staying out here in Korea, yes. But in terms of, like, consistently casting a league, I think it's only been since last Pro League.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's actually hard to believe that you just started last year. I was thinking about that this morning,
jumped right in, man.
You just, like, learned really quick.
Jumped right on board.
What does that sign say?
We got a sign on the other
that guy with
camera.
the special font.
Okay, there we go.
It's like, P.S. If it goes 3-0 3 times, then the PD's going to cry, a producer, because... it wouldn't make for a very good show, I guess, is what he's implying. I didn't read the first 3 things. I just read the last.
Especially for the Korean TV show, they probably have like a set block of time. And if it's like 3 3-0s, it's probably too fast. So they're like, how do we fill this? I guess we could do
reruns.
A lot of commercials. Yeah.
Reruns, commercials, something like that. Yeah.
Not sure what the delay is here. It's, well, actually, I am sure. It is Classic, who's not in the lobby.
He's not even in there. He's not in the chat. He's not in our little secret chat.
Channeling a little bit of Flash. They're not even on the same team, but I guess they're both telecom companies, and he just wants to do this to everybody watching.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on either. We had technical difficulties yesterday in the GSL, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Me and Tasteless awkwardly staring into the camera for like 15 minutes. We're like, yeah, guys, so the weather's pretty nice. And then they're like, okay, 5-minute break. Like, they're like, no, you guys can't talk about the weather. Sorry, we'll give you a break. That was a lot of fun.
I'll take the time to talk about a game I started playing like a little bit last night and started playing a little bit today called Xenoblade Chronicles. It's great. I would recommend it. It's coming out like tomorrow, I think, for the 3DS, but I picked up the Wii version. It's very expensive, hard to find, but got it. put it in, playing a little bit, and story was great. The gameplay not the best, but I've been like, it's one of those games where like I'm like, oh, the gameplay's not that great. Like Metal Gear, where I'm like, oh, this is really old, and it feels like the game is not that good. But like, I can't stop playing it because it's just so good.
Story, right? I mean, I love those games actually, where it's like you're basically playing a movie or something. Like you're playing the role of the main actor.
Yeah.
And you just like get to see the story unfold and interact with it as it's going on and stuff.
I think one of the best games for that, which I actually played through with Taste just like a long time ago, was Heavy Rain. It's an insanely good PlayStation game. Would recommend playing it if you like single player games. It's like
is that like Myst?
Not exactly. It's more like you're like playing through a movie, like literally, and things happen to you. It's almost like Resident Evil, like suddenly like something falls off the ceiling, you have to like move, but it's a little bit more. It's a little bit like less random than that. It's not like a horror game, but
I think I know what kind of game you're talking about.
It's like no matter what happens, if you lose, you don't die, and the story progresses, but you try to get the best ending, basically.
Yeah.
It's almost like one of those Goosebumps choose your own ending, like where you turn to like page 47, then like you choose one thing, or you turn to page 112, or you turn to page 39. You just keep flipping around until you eventually.
Those are always so much fun. Just like spend the whole time just looking at the different endings and trying to get the best one and stuff.
Yeah, I did that when I was a kid a lot. Like I read a ton of those old Goosebumps books. Like I mean, I know there were other series that did this as well, but Goosebumps is the one that I
was with Goosebumps too. We're on the same page.
It was great fun. My parents never really liked it. They were like, you should read books that are better than these silly books where people get crushed and turned into goo. I'm like, nah, it's cool. It's cool, Mom. I like it. It's fine.
Goosebumps were great. Just in general.
I was one of those kids who went on a lot of like car trips, you know?
Yeah.
And
Me
so
too.
I was like always on my Game Boy reading a book.
Where were you going, man? Where did you go on car trips?
My parents had another house, like a vacation house in South Carolina. Also, my father's side of the family's from there, so I'm from Atlanta. So we do a lot of driving. 4 or 5 hour drive. Have some regular restaurants we stopped at along the way. Got pretty good at it. I mean, I was going like sometimes twice a month on these trips for the weekends. So doing my homework in the car, that kind of stuff. Hating those projects. Anyone else hate those projects you had to do when like you're a little kid? You're like, God, why do I have to do this project, right? There's all these requirements and points and stuff. I hate
book reports and stuff.
Yeah, book reports, projects. Why can't I just do some good old math problems, like some homework?
Oh yeah.
I hate those projects, man. I always procrastinated those till last weekend. Everybody did that, right?
Yep. I think everybody did that. Unless they were strange.
The Classic is finally ready. It looks like he's still not in the lobby, but he's pending.
Yeah. They invited him. And this guy's been around for a bit here. Some decent results. Kespa Cup semifinalist. BlizzCon 2014 semifinals as well.
Pizza Protoss, man.
Pizza Protoss?
Yeah.
I thought he was the Zealotos.
He's a Zealotos and the Pizza Protoss. Doe is his name. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I don't like that one, to be honest.
Well, Creator, you look at some of his results. They go back as far as 2012. IPL Season 5, IPL Season 4. This guy won the WCS 2012, otherwise known as the BWC Korea Nationals. And I think he went on to get top 4 at the actual tournament finals in China. Parting won that one when he was going through his crazy run. So you can see that Creator actually got through by winning first place in the wild card match. He got third place in Group B of the preliminaries. I mean, you guys can't see that, but I'm just translating it for you. And if you look at Classics win rates here, not the best in recent times. He did get to the round of 16 last season in the Neighbor Star League.
Defeated Center and Sky High, as well as a random Barcode and Timing, who I don't even know who that is. So, I don't know. Not the hardest path, actually. A couple of Terrans that are kind of against Protoss, you know what I mean? And I feel like Creator had a little bit of a harder path. He ends up beating Sky High as well. Poor Sky High lost to both of these two Protosses. Creator also lost to Hyun 0-2.
Don't underestimate Zone. Zone's Creator's teammate as well. Don't underestimate him. I think the guy's
That's like your poster boy now after you predicted him once.
So what I mean,
funny.
I could see potential. Classic bans Cactus Valley, and Creator bans Bonnie. Map size we're looking at here, we got Deadwing and King Sejong, two staple maps, Merry-Go-Round to start things off. You don't get into Overgrowth or Expedition Lost until the end. So we're going to see Sejong no matter what. I think Creator takes a game or two, but I want to give this series to Classic.
Yeah, I'll give it to Classic as well.
But I don't think this is going to be a 3-0. I don't think so.
I agree. I think this probably will go, I think 3-1 maybe Classic's way. I'd have to say Creator doesn't have the greatest mindset. You know, he can come out sometimes and win like a best-of-1 PvP, or sometimes against Zest, like a best-of-1 and then another best-of-1 in the Ace match. But outside of that, I'm not really sure about his best-of-5s here in recent times, especially against Classic, a guy, like I said earlier on today, he beat Yowa in PvP. So definitely on point with this PvP these days.
I gotta say,
would favor him.
Yeah, I gotta say, Creator's also the type of guy who, if he gets down 0-2, he will lose 3-0 like every time.
Kind of like Rogue. You know what I mean? They're just like a little bit too emotional. Get a little bit nervous at times when they get behind. But guys, let's jump into game number 1 here. It's going to be Classic versus Creator. Up here in the top left in the blue, one of our Protoss players here from SK Telecom. It is Classic.
A little decal looks like his face a little bit. The Zealot Protoss, man.
What? I missed it.
Over here, the top right in red, Creator. It's got like some Zerg decals on there. Creator looking very focused today. Creator has like a very varied mindset. We see him like sometimes do just insane little. He's like possibly the most emotional player I've ever seen. Like I'm talking like jumping up and down, doing fist pumps if he wins, or head on the table crying if he loses. Like he is very emotional. You can see it in his play. Compared to his old teammate Marine King, you know, they're very emotional. You see how sometimes get very stressed.
Was the guy I was going to say, but Marine King's just kind of depressed all the time. He like loses every single game, and depressing story with that guy.
And Marine King just like he just simply put has like he definitely has like psychological blocks when he gets behind in the game, or you know if he's stressed out. Like I don't know the game he played recently on Expedition Lost where he just like died and didn't see the creep and stuff, even the vision of it. It's like something's going on in his head, right? You know.
And then you get accused of max fixing, and you're just like, well, my life sucks.
It's definitely rough times for him right now.
Yeah. Rogue, another guy like that. I love the fact that Hurricane actually did the proxy nexus because he knows that he can get into Rogue's head.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, I can just abuse this. You know, I can actually use this to win the series.
Yeah. And you know, like. There are a lot of players like this, actually. I mean, we listed quite a few of them, but just to throw a few more out there as we see this game kind of ramping up here. Liquid Hero, another one of those players who gets down in a series or gets down in a game and really struggles to pick things back up. And it's tough for some of these players to actually stay in the right state of mind. It's all about psychology, and actually that's such a big part of this game. I feel like it's not highlighted enough how important it is, and to have a solid mind, like.
Yeah, Starcraft is a hard game. This is like probably the hardest game that's you know an esport these days, which is why it does draw that kind of hardcore fan base as well.
Yeah,
maybe not the most gigantic one anymore, but still, I mean, we still have like so many hardcore fans that have followed it since the beginning.
I would say most people in the chat right now, typing and hanging out in here, most of them. Oh, is this gonna get scouted?
What?
Oh my god, that's a Creator moment.
That's going to be so tilting, by the way.
He's probably going to think this is a Nexus now, actually. Like, he's probably going to think a Nexus is going to go. That's why he's keeping the probe there.
Or proxy.
Yeah, or proxy. Both incorrect assumptions at this point. Look how he's sending his Mothership Core to check for proxies. I was going to say, though, most people in the chat, most people watching this probably haven't played 10 ladder games this month. Like, they probably just haven't. You know, it's a this is a spectator sport mostly, primarily because this game is so so hard and so difficult to play. And it's
you
stressful.
Can get upset playing this game. It's stressful. That's probably the best word to say.
Yeah.
I think they've done a lot in Legacy of the Void to kind of take away from that. You know, it's a little bit faster. You're not really thinking to yourself as much, and you don't really have time. And I know, and also with the addition of Archon mode, it just makes it a lot more fun.
It's so much more accessible.
Just to play with a friend.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and do that.
Because StarCraft is a game that most people want to play 1v1 because that's the game it's built to be, and it's become an esport to be. Like, it's not a 2v2 esport, it's not a 5v5 esport, it's a 1v1, so you get to play with your friends and you get this experience of having a 1v1 where you've got a teammate or a buddy. So let's take a look at these builds. The Stargate's still unscouted. Creator did check around for some proxies. He is still fully prepared for this type of build. He has units in his mineral line and actually hides his probe here. He's going to maybe make a Nexus. Makes a Robo instead. 3 Stalkers will ward this away. Not before he loses 1 probe. But still, good defense here.
Mothership Core looks like down to that natural. I think maybe with a little photon overcharge there, he may have been able to take that out, but instead just going to keep those Stalkers in the main.
Yeah.
Nexus way, way ahead here for Classic. I don't even think that got scouted.
No, it didn't.
And that's going to be bad because this just buys him so much time. This can happen in PvP where if something like this, especially a Nexus, just doesn't get scouted, you could just get so far behind. And we see Creator, he's going for that kind of typical, it's a very kind of safe build. You go for the 2 gates, you get a lot of Stalkers to fend off anything early, and then you get a 3rd one and Blink, as well as a follow-up Robo. And it's just like, okay, I'm not going to die to anything here. But Classic, he's being a bit risky. He goes Nexus into Robo, which is a much better tech right now.
Yeah, but
and he's going to have 2 Immortals out by this time this hits.
Exactly, and that's the big problem here. Creator, I think, has started to realize at this point, based on what he's seen, oh, okay, you're going for a Nexus. I'm going to try to come up here, poke, punish, maybe force a cancel. He's going to go up here. Not only going to see that it's done, but it's been mining for a while. And there's a Nexus Cannon. There's actually the Mothership Core with 78 energy left still. Can drop a 2nd Nexus Cannon pretty soon. And like you said, 2 Immortals are going to be out. Blink isn't even done yet. And Creator's only hope here is to try to blink into the main. Doesn't even have enough Stalkers. He's going to start his own late Nexus. But he cannot just do this and stop. He needs to continue to harass. And he's being harassed himself, actually, at the same time. By
he
that
needs
Oracle.
to do damage. And he's going to find some over here. He gets 1 probe, it looks like. But,
oh
my God.
What?
Loses 2 Stalkers. That is not worth it at this moment in time.
Classic.
He needed to put on the pressure, but he just basically lost all of it. A 3rd Immortal is going to come out here, and Classic is going to be totally fine. Nexus way far ahead. He's even going to get that Forge up ahead. And oh boy, here we go. This is not a good starting game for Creator. He pretty much needed to win this first one, I think, if he was going to take this series.
This is just a rough way to start.
Yeah.
Like, he missed that Stargate Scout by, like, a few pixels.
Yeah.
He's now going to lose. That Stalker misblinked. Nexus Cannon goes up. He's just going to finish this off. Probes run away just for safety here. I don't even know what's going on.
He loses the last one, and yeah.
Well, he's about to have a Nexus. Worker count is 5 up right now for Classic, but it's the amount of extra minerals he's mined and the fact that Creator has not a single Immortal. Okay, I take it back. He has 1. His Forge is late. We're going to see. I think Classic's going to go Colossi here. Just take his advantage. He's going to keep poking at the front and just go Colossi.
I wonder if he'll just, like, move out. He might just be moving down to the low ground to make sure no more Stalkers blink in. Oh, and also to snipe that Observer. Very nice. Might just go for a little pressure. I think he's got, like, a decent amount of units here, actually, to
plus the Oracle,
here.
Which is going to actually take out all those shields. Oh, boy. That's like Creator's only tool. There's a Colossi that's I was talking about, but you're exactly right. This is just going to be a poke.
Yeah. He probably feels like, oh, I killed so many Stalkers, maybe I can put on some pressure. But what he sees here is that it's not going to be quite enough. But he should be happy with what he sees also. He's like, oh, I am really far ahead.
Yeah. Better safe than sorry is what we're seeing here.
So just go back, get up your tech, get your Twilight Council, get some Colossi, get the upgrades, and go ahead, go for a follow-up attack and win the game. I think that's the order of things here for Classic.
Yeah.
What does Creator do from behind?
Well, the only thing to do in this matchup when you're behind is to turtle. And hope that you can get, like, a head and Forge upgrades or something.
Maybe go for, like, War Prism drops.
Yeah.
Attack the economy.
You need to do that, especially if you can find the moment when your opponent's going to take a 3rd base. If he's going to fight you 2 base against 2 base, then that's a great opportunity for you to actually just defend and then somehow equalize things. But this is exactly why Classic does not do that. This is exactly why he's just getting his Colossi and his Colossus range and starts a 3rd base. Because he's like, okay, well, you're a Turley Protoss. I'm ahead. This is always what happens. Let me just break this matchup down for you guys in this type of situation. I did this in Moonglade the other day. I'll do it again today. When you're ahead like this, you take a 3rd base. Your opponent moves out to take your 3rd base. He doesn't have enough time to get there to punish. You kill him. He takes his own 3rd base. You have more army than him. He's no longer in a defensive position. You can fight his Nexus before it's ready to use a Nexus cannon on it. You're going to have the better comp. You have a siege comp because you have Colossi. You're going to kill him. He cancels the Nexus. You have 3 Nexus. He has 2 Nexus. You're going to kill him. Like,
there's just, like, no good option for Creator.
There's none. He just has to turtle and hope for huge mistakes at a Classic.
Yeah. Especially these 2 mirror matchups, ZVZ and PvP. Once you get this far ahead, like this far ahead, there's basically no coming back unless Classic makes a big mistake.
Yeah, like in TVT, the most comebacks are possible because sometimes you see like Marines run into siege tanks that were unsieged or something, and you like catch up a few siege tanks. And this match was just
drops in the main and stuff.
Right, and this match was just kind of like, well, every Protoss unit is good against every other Protoss unit. Like Stalkers do bonus damage to Stalkers. Like I've got Colossi, they're insanely strong. Every Protoss unit is so good. It's all about arcs, and the fights end very quickly. And there's not a whole lot of micro technique you can use to turn a fight. I mean, yeah, there's time warps. Oh, look at this move. What?
Nicely done.
That was a good
small
catch
victory.
Small victory. That was pretty nice.
There was one big mistake made by a Protoss in Pro League. It was the best one. I think it was
Deer.
I remember, right? Deer versus Hurricane.
Yeah, and he just accidentally...
And Hurricane won the game.
He just accidentally move commanded instead of attack.
Yeah, he lost like everything. We were just like, whoa.
This is why people stay in games like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes that happens.
Sometimes it happens. Not very often. It's like 95% of the time that it doesn't happen. But
yeah. Now he's going to scout this third base, and I mean, I'm no scientist, okay? I'm no cleric, I'm no seer, but I'm pretty sure he's just going to go kill it with his better army comp. Look at that blob on the map. He's like, should I kill this? I mean, mine's already way further ahead. Well, I could probably just kill it. Let me get some Archons first, maybe. Check and see how many Colossi he has exactly. And he's actually just going to sit here and be safe. I'm surprised he's not moving out.
Something must have went over to that third base because he actually had to pull his probes, and now he's making a cannon. Maybe some zealots?
Yeah.
I might have missed that.
Looks like it. Definitely not any DTs.
Yeah.
Creator's not trying that path.
But here you go. I mean, this is exactly what you were saying. As long as he doesn't get into a bad position here, Creator, or rather Classic, he should be able to take this fight. He's going straight for that Nexus.
He's gonna try to feedback this Mothership core, I think. He's waiting for that High Templar to come. He made just one High Templar. Okay, now we know he made it into an Archon. I take it back. Okay, well, a good arc here for Creator, and actually a pretty excellent time warp, but he just doesn't have enough units. Look at these hallucinations even coming down here.
Yeah, pushing forward here is Classic. Zealots getting right in there onto the Colossi, not what you want. One of them going to go down to just Zealots and an Archon, and GG is called. Exactly what we were saying, guys. The follow-up to that, and Classic.
All right, so, like, trick question for Twitch chat here. I want everybody to answer. I'm not even reading it, okay? What's better than... Which one of these two things is better? A, is it 1 Nexi, or B, is it 2 Nexi? That's it. Yeah, he has 2 Nexi for much longer than you, and you lose the game. You don't have the right tech to punish.
I know it wasn't even just the Nexus. Like, the Nexus was so far ahead, but also he followed up with a robotics tech, which is like, okay, the best tech. You want to get that out as soon as possible in PvP. And he was just so far ahead of that against Creator as well.
It's almost like Creator thought it was going to be like Phoenixes or something. Like, he was like not prepared to do a blink attack.
Well, he was just playing super safe, man. You go blink into Robo to make sure you don't die to DTs, and then you take a later Nexus, but he just got too far behind. Yeah. And then he was trying to do damage with his Blink Stalkers, which is always where these Protoss get pigeonholed, and they have to do it. They have to find damage because they're so far behind, and that's the tech path they chose, the Blink. And they go up against 3 Immortals and usually lose all their Stalkers because they're forcing it so much because they have to.
Yeah.
And then they get even farther